All right, everyone, we are back with our Mindset and Motivation Monday. Cannot wait to bring this topic to you here today, and this is why. Doing these 5 things in life, and I've been starting to see them over and over, and they've been growing in our society and culture, which is such an amazing thing to see. I'm going to share with you my personal history with a lot of these and how I've developed in them and what I've seen in my practice, but also what I've seen in the zeitgeist, what I've seen over social media. I want to share that with you, but doing these 5 things is going to make you unstoppable, but even more so, it's going to make it impossible to lose in life. And I think that'll become crystal clear as we move through all 5. So let's dive right in. The first one is this, and it's an important one, is that you need to buy back your time somehow. You need to get back more hours in the day. How do you do that? I mean, how do you do that without sleeping less? Start earlier. How do you start earlier? Get to bed a little bit earlier. But how do we do that? We need to work backwards. So what we need to do is create our ideal day, right? Not somebody else's ideal day, but our ideal day. And that doesn't mean that you can script it from sun up to sundown, although that would be amazing. But what I want you to do is what I've been talking about over the last couple of weeks and maybe even years is what's most important to you right now. 1 or 2 things, that's it. Gut feeling, what is it? Okay, let's schedule 1 hour a day before the rest of the world needs you, before your routine starts. So if your routine starts at 7 a.m., I need you to wake up at 6 a.m. You might say that's so early. I totally get it. I totally understand. But it's not so early if we move back the bedtime to about 10 o'clock. Okay, so now we still get 8 hours of sleep because you might be going to bed at 11:30 now. Well, if we move it to 10, maybe 10:30 at the very latest, we can wake up at 6. And you may not be able to do this overnight, but certainly you can move it back 15 minutes per week. That's it. So if your typical wake time in the morning is 7 a.m., we'll wake up at 6:45. Next week, 6:30. Again, you have your whole lifetime, but we can make this happen over the course of 4 weeks. I shared with you last Friday a book called The 5 a.m. Club. I said I was going to review it. I decided to review it because you don't need to wake up at 5 a.m., but you need to wake up with a plan. So let's say it's 6 to 7. 6 to 7 is not wasted time. You've got 2 half-hour blocks to get after your goals. If one of them is body transformation, you're going to meal prep for the day in 30 minutes, and you can do a 30-minute workout. Easy. If your goal is to become a real estate agent, to become an IHP, a health coach, a personal trainer, whatever, you're going to use the 30 minutes for study. Like, you're going to use that time wisely before you have to start the rest of your day. So this is your time for you to build you, to make you stronger. And I think that this is going to make sense again as we get to number 5. Okay, so it might not be 5 a.m., but it might be 6. Whatever time works for you, I want 1 hour before your routine for the day has to start. And it's great because, like, I wake up early. My wife has started to do an hour early, which is amazing. So she gets to do some of the things that she needs to do, or just not even be rushed with the kids getting ready for school. And so it's a great thing to do. I can't recommend it enough. So it's a really amazing thing to be able to do, and it's going to bring back so much energy into your morning. Again, not at night, in the morning. All right, number 2 is this: work as hard as you can. First one's wake up early. The second is work as hard as you can. Now, people don't love when you say that. And that is because a lot of times we're talking about self-care and we're talking about all these different things. I totally get it. But what work as hard as you can means is that idle time is very dangerous. So if you are not working on you, your family, your spirituality, your health, your relationships, your career, right? If you're not working on any one of those things, which again, it doesn't just have people think it's always career and finances. No, work as hard as you can in life. And because the alternative is that you get sucked into a hole of social media, mindless reading about all sorts of different, madness that goes on in the world. And it is not allowing you to then have the thoughts that you need to feel the things that you need to feel in order to take the actions that move you forward in life, or not just you, but your family. It's my personal belief, this is subjective, but it's my personal belief that if you work as hard as you can during the day, not to exhaustion, I'm not talking about literally falling down asleep on your desk, but when your head does hit the pillow at night, you say, wow, I didn't get everything done maybe that I wanted to, but it was a great day. Like, I feel like I accomplished something. I moved forward in life. Where if you look at your phone and average time on your phone is 4 hours, 4.5 hours, and I'm not saying that it's not for work, then that 4 hours, what could you have done with it? Maybe you give yourself some social media time. I'm not totally against that. I get it. Maybe 30 minutes, but an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, I'm not sure that this is necessarily good for our brain or our productivity and potential when you extrapolate that over years. So work as hard as you can on what has meaning to you. Number 3, stay sober. So, it's when I do these Mindset and Motivation Mondays, I don't necessarily know how it's going to hit, how it's going to land with individuals. But I've been seeing this, again, in the zeitgeist, right? Everything that's out there. More and more people talking about leaving alcohol, leaving cannabis, actually going and meeting people at, doing sauna or cold plunge or run clubs. I mean, it's the most amazing thing that I've heard. Because for me, I almost never consume alcohol. Like, it's so rare for me to have a half a glass of wine. So like, I'll have a random half a glass of wine if I'm out with friends celebrating or whatever it is. So I'll get a glass of wine and that's it. I might have 3 sips, I might have no sips, and it is every few months. Like that would be a celebratory, because if we're just going out to dinner, I don't need to drink, right? But if it's like, oh, everybody's gonna, sure, I'll have a glass of wine and I will just enjoy and be social. But I could be social and have a great time with 0 alcohol at a bar. And I've done that for many years. Now I just choose not to ever go to a bar. But what I'll share with you is this. I've been seeing this catch on more and more. And I think people are coming to the realization that alcohol and a lot of drugs in general, I'm not saying cannabis is all bad. I'm definitely not saying that. But these things are not great over time for your health or your brain. We know that THC, specifically THC, over time can be worse for your brain than alcohol. And this is, again, I think Dr. Amen's done a lot of work in this field. And he shared that. And I believe him based on his brain scans, because he has nothing to gain or lose by saying that. So I think that this is really important, that we focus on our overall health and well-being and understand the things that are detracting from that. And it goes back to the same thing of like, wake up early and work as hard as you can. If you're hungover or don't feel well the next day, what's the likelihood that you're going to be in the mindset to wake up earlier and to work hard? Very low, right? So again, enjoy your life. Enjoy your life. I really do mean that. But think about how you are enjoying it. And if maybe for you, reducing your alcohol consumption might be part of that. All right, the 4th one is this: find God. Maybe this again is a little bit controversial as well, but it can just be spirituality. It really can. It's not for me to tell anyone how to find spirituality or how they should practice their faith. But this is one that I've struggled with forever. Like forever, because I went to Catholic school when I was younger. And so for me, it's like the better part of my life is really like, I want to fully believe. I really do. And then I have this analytical part of my mind that makes it so difficult to continue to walk the path and to really, when I read the scriptures and I do all of these things, it just makes it challenging for me. But it doesn't stop me from talking with God and have that deep meaning in my life, which I do. And to understand that, I trust the process more. I honestly do. And especially with kids now, it's like, I need to know that there's something bigger than me, that there's something that I believe in, and that there's something that allows me to know that I'm not alone. And I'm not alone, like walking the path every day, because life can be challenging. It really can. So why do I share this with you is because I don't know how you practice your spirituality and your faith, and it doesn't have to be perfect. I'm far from perfect, and I'm far from perfect in, my specific devotion, as you call it. But what I'll say is this, is that people that I know who have some type of spiritual practice, and they look at something beyond them as a greater and stronger power in this world, they seem to be happier. They seem to be a little less stressed, not having to be completely reliant on themselves, but God or that greater power. It's at least something to think about. So again, I wanted to share these with you because this is becoming unstoppable. Like, how do you become unstoppable? Well, you realize that you don't have to control everything. You don't have to have all of the power, right? All right, the 5th one is this: keep yourself physically fit and healthy. Why would I put this in there as the anchor? Because if you don't have your health, you literally I should put it this way. Everything else takes a back seat. Think about it. If you've ever hurt your back before, everything else takes a back seat. You're like, oh, I have a lower back. Like I hurt my lower back. I've never thought about my lower back before. And then all of a sudden you hurt it. You're like, I can't do anything. I can't sit down. I can't stand up, right? All of those things happen. So if you have no energy and you have brain fog and then you have no drive and you have no ambition, are you going to wake up early? No. Are you going to work as hard as you can? No. Are you going to try to stay sober? No. Are you going to look towards God or spirituality? No, because you're upset. You're angry, right? So here's the thing. You need the best health that you can possibly have. And that's why I focus so much on it. And I try to share this with people because if you give yourself the gift of health, what can you then do? Well, your cup is then full and you get to share with others. So for me, I can easily work 12 hours a day, no problem, because I have the energy and the capacity to do that and the want and the mission and the drive and the purpose to want to share what I know in this world. Right? And so if I can teach those things and I can share those things and I can work hard and I can wake up early and I can stay sober and I can have my spirituality and my relationship with God, then it allows me to do what? It allows me to fulfill my purpose, which gives me a true reason for being and I'm passionate really for what I do and the energy that comes into my life on a daily basis doing that. So now it's cyclical. I wake up with energy because I take care of myself, and then I get more energy going through my day. And of course, my family is such a big part of that day. So I wanted to share that with you. And like no one is maybe necessarily more important than another. But what I would say is that maybe start at number 5, go to 4, go to 3, go to 2, and go to 1. Because if you start with making yourself healthy, you're going to have more energy to want to then maybe have a deeper spiritual-based practice. Then you'll want to maybe then consume less alcohol because you won't need it. You already feel like you've got this deeper meaning. And then after that, you'll want to work hard. And if you work hard, well, you need to find 1 more hour a day, 2 30-minute blocks, and that you're waking up early. So however you want to think about it, this is your life. I just want to see you happy. I want to see you at peace. I want to see you maximize your life. And then, of course, be a role model for others. So hopefully this show was helpful. If it was, of course, you can share it with them. They can head on over to StephenCabral.com/3412. Have an amazing day, everyone. I'll talk with you tomorrow on a brand new Cabral Concept. Thanks so much for tuning into today's show. Before you go, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I want to make sure that you're getting our daily content, not missing out on anything. Functional medicine, wellness, weight gain, weight loss, anti-aging, living longer, stronger, and all of the most cutting-edge research. And if there's any topics you want to hear, feel free to leave them in the comments below. Take care.